All right, let's go ahead and look at some multiplying radicals. So at the top of your square, at top of your paper, make sure you always have those perfect squares written. Again, if you can't remember where they're coming from, 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, so on and so forth, that'll give you that list. Like we always do, we want to make sure that we simplify first. So we're going to simplify any of the radicals, and then we're going to look at what it's asking us. When you see the little dot in between two things, that tells me I'm multiplying. And when you're dealing with radicals, you're going to deal with the outside times the outside, and then the inside times the inside, okay? What you have to make sure is that when you do the inside times the inside, it stays underneath the radical. So it stays inside the radical then. And then your last step is always to try to simplify one more time just to be safe, because things might have been missed before, and then we'll still need to simplify. So let's go ahead and try this idea with number 1 here. So first thing I want to do is simplify. Now, when you're simplifying radicals, you are only ever simplifying what is underneath the radical. We're never going to touch what's out front, okay? So underneath the radical, I see 18. I know that when I'm looking at my perfect squares list, 9 divides nicely out of 18. So I'm going to end up with the square root of 9 and the square root of 2. Okay. What I have then when I simplify that is this 9, square root of 9, turns into a 3. The square root of a 2 stays square root of a 2. What I'm not touching yet is this 3 that's way out front. Now, when something's out front like this, we, again, don't simplify it, but we do need to carry it down. And so it's still out front here as well. When you have 2 numbers out front or 2 numbers underneath, we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply those. So I'm going to end up with 3 times 3 out front, which is going to give me 9. Square root of 2 is going to stay square root of 2. A lot of times people will try to tell me, well, great, I know that 9 is 3. But no, you don't want to reduce again because that 9 is not underneath the radical anymore. So this is going to be my final answer. Let's go ahead and look at number 2 here. So I'm going to simplify what's underneath the radical. Okay? And to do so, I know that 12 can be written as 4 and 3. If you're confused on where those numbers are coming from, you're going to want to go back and watch the second video. Actually, watch the first video of radicals where we are simplifying radicals. Okay, we're just simplifying like we've been doing for a while now. My a to the 7th I know is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to create my pairs for a's. So I know that that square root of 4 is going to turn into a 2 that's out front. I'm going to bring 1, 2, 3 a's out front because I have 3 pairs. So I'm going to bring a to the 3rd. Underneath the root, I still have a 3. And I have an a that I did not underline. Okay, that did not have a pair. Again, the one thing that I haven't touched yet is this 5 out front, and I need to just leave that out front because we don't simplify when they're out front. But that tells me I have a 5 and a 2, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply those two things. So I'm going to put 10a to the 3rd square root of 3a. Now let's go ahead and look at number 3. This is going to change just a little bit because I'm dealing with multiple radicals now. So I still want to go through and I still want to try to simplify. So I'm going to try to simplify 2 and I'm going to try to simplify 5. Well, square root of 2 I can't do. I can't simplify that. So we're going to leave it. Square root of 5 I can't simplify. So we're going to leave that as well. So that brings me to my multiplication. So out front times out front. Well, out front I have imaginary 1s, and 1 times 1 is still going to be 1. Okay, so I'm not even going to write it out front. Underneath times underneath, 2 times 5 is going to give me 10. And that's going to stay underneath the radical. So then my last step is I want to try to simplify. 10, well, I would try 9. 9 doesn't divide out, 4 doesn't divide out. So 10 can't be simplified, so this would be my final answer. Number 4, same process. We're going to simplify first. And when you simplify, you only ever simplify the ones underneath the radicals. So when I'm looking at 3, I don't have anything there. Okay. And then when I'm looking at 2, I don't have anything there. So I can't touch those square roots. There's no simplification happening. So I'm going to move straight into the multiplication. I'm going to multiply out front times out front. So now 4 times 6 is going to give me 24. Underneath times underneath. So 3 times 2 is going to give me square root of 6 because I want to leave that underneath. We're then going to try to simplify one more time, and you only simplify what's underneath the radical. So the 24 is going to stay 24. 6 is what I'm trying to simplify, but I can't do it, so this is going to be my answer. Let's flip it over. Let's get a little bit tougher here now. Let's throw some letters in there. Okay, still the same process though. So we're going to simplify first. So I simplify underneath, and I'm going to simplify underneath. Well, I know that 20 can be square root of 4 and square root of 5, which I know then is going to be written as 2 square root of 5. I'm going to carry down that multiplication sign. Square root of 6 I can't do, but I know that x to the third means I have 3 x's, which I can create a pair from, and the pair is going to come out front as 1. And then I'm still going to have square root of the 6 underneath and the lonely x underneath. We're now to the point of multiplication. So out front times out front, 2 times x, underneath times underneath. 5 times 6x is going to give me 30x. And then I always want to double check at the end, can I simplify again? 30 I cannot simplify, so this is going to stay my answer. Let's look at another one like that. Okay, simplify underneath the radicals. Only ever simplify what's underneath the radicals. So 8 I know is going to be in 4 and 2. And I know that square root of 4 is going to turn into 2. Square root of 2 is going to stay square root of 2. I'm going to bring down the multiplication sign. And that 3 out front, since I'm not going to touch it, I'm going to bring it down right away, because I am not touching that. We're going to simplify 12. 12 I know is square root of 4, square root of 3. So that's going to give me 2 square root of 3. So now we're to that multiplication piece. I have a 2 out front, I have a 3 out front, and I have another 2. We're going to multiply each of those together. So 2 times 3 times 2 is going to give me 12. Underneath times underneath. So 2 times 3 is going to give me 6. I know I can't simplify 6, so that is going to be my answer, and I'm going to be done. All right, look at number 7. That's a hefty one, but we can do this. So we're going to simplify anything underneath first. Okay, if it's not underneath, it's coming straight down. So this one I know is coming straight down. That 2x squared, that's not underneath. I am not going to touch that. We're going to simplify what's underneath this radical first. So I can't simplify 3, but I know that x to the third gives me 1x that I can bring out front. So I have an x out front. Square root, the 3 is going to stay underneath, the x is going to stay underneath, and the y is going to stay underneath. We're going to carry that multiplication sign down. I can't simplify a 2, and I can't simplify a y, so we're going to leave that as the square root of 2y. Carry that multiplication piece down. That 4y is out front, so we are literally just going to carry that down because we're not simplifying that. We're simplifying what's under the radical, which the 3 I can't touch, but y to the 4th is going to give me 4 of these. So I'm going to get 2 pairs of y's. So I'm going to bring a y squared out front. Square root. What's left underneath is just 3. So now I'm multiplying. Out front, out front, out front, out front. So I'm going to do the numbers first. 2 times 4 is going to give me 8 out front. I have x squared and x, so I have 2 and 1, so I'm going to get x to the third. I have y and y squared, so I'm going to get y to the third. Underneath now, I have a 3 times a 2 times a 3, so I'm going to get 18. And then I have x, and then I have 2 y's left under there. Take a moment to process where all of that came from. Our last step now is to simplify one more time. Well, I know that I can simplify 18 into square root of 9, square root of 2, and I have 2 y's that I can simplify and bring out. So this whole out front piece is going to stay out front. 8x to the third, y to the third. Square root of 9 is going to turn into a 3 that I'm going to bring out front. I'm bringing a pair of y's. What's left underneath is going to be that 2 and that x. So now we can multiply. 8 times 3, 24. Out front I have 3 x's, so x to the third. I have y to the third and y, so that's going to give me 4 y's. And then underneath I'm going to be left with square root of 2x. Last but not least, number 8 here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to simplify all this. So we're going to do 9, we're going to do 32, and we're going to do 2. Anything that's out front we're not touching, so I'm just going to carry that 3 straight down. Square root of 9 is a special one. 9 is in my perfect squares list, so the square root of 9 is just 3. That's just going to tell me I can bring it straight down. I don't have to do any splitting up at all. We're going to bring our multiplication sign down. That 2 is out front. I can carry that beast down. Now let's do a 32. I know 32 is square root of 16, square root of 2. Square root of 16 is going to turn into a 4. Square root of 2 we're going to leave as square root of 2. Carry the multiplication sign down. Square root of 2 I can't touch, so I'm going to leave that as square root of 2. So we have out front times out front times out front times out front. So that's going to give me 72. Underneath times underneath, I have 2 times 2, so that's going to give me 4. And then I want to try to simplify one more time. Well, I know that 4, again, is a perfect square. That's a nice number. So I know that 72 is going to come out front, but that 4 is going to turn into a 2. And when you have multiple numbers out front, we multiply them together. So I'm going to end up with 144.